Hey yo guys, what's up and welcome back to Two Toe Tags and Metal Reviews. Today we're getting our final review of The Wretched, the Ruinous by Unearth. So a whole week worth of listening to this album, and I gotta say, I enjoyed it quite a bit. But issues, like I normally have with albums that I'm critiquing. So just to start off with a couple things, last week in our first impressions of this album, we talked about Broken Arrow, which is the second last track. We talked about how it was an interesting track, it stood out among the other tracks, had a very punk vibe feel to it, which was pretty cool. But I think I mentioned that there was like gang vocals in it. I just want to say that there's no gang vocals. I think it's just a layered vocal, like a post-production kind of thing that almost sounded like gang vocally. So that was that. That disappointed me a little bit though when I actually listened to it and found that out, because I was actually happy that there was gang vocals in there. That kind of was something that stood out to me, and I thought that's really cool for Unearth to do that. Gang vocals are cool because they're really crowd pleasing, right, at a live show, because those are parts that you know everybody's going to sing along with too, right? Yeah. It really has a lot of higher energy impact for a live performance. Dawn of the Militant was a video that we reacted to recently, and still sick song. Enjoy it quite a bit. My beef with this song though is the EBS that happens, the emergency broadcast system sound.
Oh, that.
Right? So when we reacted to the video, it happens in the video, and in my head I thought, okay, that's just for the video, it's not in the actual track. But then when I listened to it again, I went, oh, it's in the song. And it happens like 2, maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is such a bad design choice to put in there. Like, basically it's just a tone that plays, but like, it's so annoying. The music stops for it. Like, if they had done it once, maybe I could get away with it. But the fact that it does it like a couple times.
I think it's twice.
I think it's twice too, but it feels like more than that. And that could just be the fact that I replayed this album so many times throughout the week. I mean, it's 36 minutes long. It's pretty short. You're going to listen to it a lot when you play it like we do. So that was something that was really getting annoying to me. As for things I liked, the best song in this album for me was Mother Betrayal, which is another single we reacted to. I think the groove in this song near the beginning just makes this song sick, and I added it to my playlist for that reason alone. The downfall with it is the last half of the track is kind of just meh. It feels to me. Oh, I gotta look.
Well, I mean, you only gotta look because it's like, I don't really remember that much from that song, to be honest.
You don't remember that much at all?
It was a song.
Yeah, okay, well, so that's kind of how I felt about the last half of it. The first half I thought was great. The second half I was like, whoa, whatever. Into the Abyss has a really sick solo, and I really like the drum intro on Invictus. The last point I'll make before passing the floor to TV Fish, because I'm really curious to know what you think, to be honest. The first track, which is the title track, The Wretched, the Ruinous, should have been the last track on the album. And the reason is because of the whole No Heroes, Year Zeros part at the end. It kind of goes to that, had that weird part. That would have been really cool as an outro track, I find. So I felt that was a bit of a wasted opportunity, or maybe a overlook on track placement, maybe. Or maybe they had a completely different idea of the way they wanted their album to sound. But to me, that sounded really awkward as an opening track and would have been stellar as a closer. The drum break before the solo on that song is also cool. But the solo itself is underwhelming. So it's like a woo and then a oh. So other than that, Cremation of the Living, Eradicator, Call of Existence, Theaters of War, all decent tracks, but all just like okay.
Well, regarding the title track, I love this song. I loved it when I first heard it, and I still love it today. I think the song is insane. I think it's a good way to open an album because of the energy and what it presents. Like, welcome to the album. We're dropping this bomb on your head, and it's fucking crazy. The riffs are great. That drum break is so cool every single time, and I love that. And an interesting thing about this album, and it goes beyond just this album, it goes to this band, is that this style of metalcore has been kind of lost to time. You don't really see bands sound like this very often anymore. I feel like metalcore has evolved to a point of being something else.
Yeah.
But these guys are still carrying that torch. And I hope that inspires more bands to walk that path and create a resurgence in 2000s metalcore.
Yeah.
Like, that would be awesome, because then we'd hear more bands like Unearth, and Unearth is awesome.
Yeah.
Dawn of the Militant, you know what? The emergency broadcast signal didn't really bother me that much, and maybe I'm just fortunate. I feel like maybe I'm lucky that it just didn't bother me, because I can understand why it would bother people. Like, that makes perfect sense. Like, it's this beeping noise, this loud beep that happens right in the song twice.
Yeah.
And the first time, it's only for a bit, and then it goes to the breakdown, and then it does it again for longer. Or maybe it's longer than shorter. Either way, I get that. I still love the song. I love the honestly, everything about it. The theme of it. That, all of it. The riff, musically, what's happening at that part is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Loved it. Every time the song came on, a banger. And one thing I kind of thought about, that it might be worth moving Aniara and Into the Abyss maybe a little bit earlier in the album, because I feel like those tracks are a really good mid-album break.
And they go together too.
And they go together, but they happen a little bit late. I'm thinking maybe like before Dawn of the Militant might be a good idea.
Like make them track 5, 6 instead of 8, 9.
Yeah, like something like that. I thought about that, because I'm thinking like it's pretty heavy hitting up until that point, and that's when you get your break like late. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Now, Theaters of War. The intro to this song is incredible, because it starts out fast, stops, and then they come back with this completely different, slower riff, and he just screams, "Theaters of War."
Yeah.
And it's like they drop down the hammer. Now, I'm curious to see what you think of this comparison. It reminds me of the way that 6 Pounder starts by Children of Bodom. Because you listen to Needle 24/7, and the way it just goes into 6 Pounder, it throws down.
Yeah.
I gotta, like, that's what this reminded me of. It reminded me of that kind of throw down.
I'd have to listen to it again with that in mind, but it's like when you pull up Needle 24/7 and 6 Pounder, like, I can't listen to those songs without listening to them together.
Yeah.
Like, those songs to me go hand in hand. They are a couple, and I wouldn't even be mad if it was one long track.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know why, but they're always just so perfect together for me.
But just like imagine like the way that Needled ends and then the way that 6 Pounder starts right after. That's the feeling that I got from the intro to Theaters of War.
But has nothing to do with Broken Arrow. This is just Theaters of War.
No, it's just because the intro of Theaters of War starts fast, stops, and then they throw down slow.
Yeah, I'd have to listen to it again with that comparison in mind to see how I actually feel about it. But that's an interesting reference though.
Yeah, like that's just kind of what I thought. I'm like, I love how this throws down. It's kind of like how 6 Pounder does. Like after Needled, this just do boom.
Yeah.
So another thing I noticed, and it weirdly took me a while to actually like notice, is that Into the Abyss has like clean vocals in the second half. It really hit me one day, like, whoa, there's like actual like cleans here. Am I stupid? Like, how did I not notice this faster? Especially considering we reacted to the song, to a music video for the song. Like, we heard the song before the album even came out. So I just thought that was a little weird, but I thought it was cool that song has that, and it makes it stand out. And I think this album has a lot of good moments. Like, if it's not an entire track being great, like the few that I mentioned, it's a song that has like a moment that's cool. Like the chorus of Invictus, love it every time that happens. The rest of the song, I guess, doesn't really stand out as much as that one part, but every time the song comes on, that part is great. And I feel like multiple songs have that. They'll have at least an individual moment that stands out, on top of entire tracks that stand out. So, overall, I did enjoy this album quite a bit. It was a lot of fun, really vicious and brutal. I did kind of feel like a few songs overall didn't really feel as strong as others, but some of them had moments that stood out at the very least.
Okay, well, it's time to get to ratings. I'll start. I think, again, TV Fish makes a good point when he says a lot of songs. There's a lot of moments on this album that really stand out. For me personally, there's lots of moments, but there wasn't a lot of songs that really, were super highlights. Like I said, Mother Betrayal is the one that really stood out the most, but even that song was kind of like a 50-50 for me. So I think the album's fun as a whole, but I was left a bit underwhelmed. I got a bit of fatigue listening to it. but I do think it's pretty good overall, so I'm going to give it a 6.
Fair enough. This is a tough one to rate because I did enjoy it thoroughly, and there are some incredible tracks on it, and there are tracks that have moments, but the tracks that have those moments are really only known for their moments. So if we kind of remove that, this album only has like a few tracks that are super standout.
Yeah.
And I did find a little bit of fatigue. Like I feel like, and it's on the shorter side. It's like 35, 36 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, around that ballpark. So I was finding a little bit of fatigue on that as well. There'd be times where I'd sit there thinking like, do I really want to throw the album on right now? Like, I think I'm good, or I'll put it on once and then not want to immediately put it on again right after that. So that kind of hurts it a bit. So it is really tough to rate, but I think in this case, $7.5.
7.5.
It's tough. It's like, it's a doorstep thing. This is either 7.5 or just toe tag, and it's like it's got songs that are toe tag level, but the rest of the album I could honestly remove and not really mind. But those few tracks I love.
Yeah, but if you removed any songs, basically you wouldn't be left with enough content to warrant a toe tag at that point.
That's the thing.
Because you're already at 36 minutes. That's 11 tracks.
And
but
it's not like they're bad songs either. They're just not as great as the ones that are really great, like the title track, like Dawn of the Militant and Theaters of War.
Yeah, toe tag albums have to have a lot of songs that really stand out, and this album just doesn't have that. Has moments that stand out, but not full tracks that stand out. Overall, the album's still really fun.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, guys, 7.5 from TV Fish. It's a 6 from me. Let us know down in the comments what you would rate this album. I know a couple people on our first impression said they think this is going to be a 2 toe tag album. Sorry to disappoint, but maybe those people have a different feeling now after a week of listening to it.
Maybe.
Anyways, guys, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I'm By Yourself.
I'm TV Fish.
See you guys on the next one.